Everybody, welcome to Fourever Rivals on the Jumper Punch channel. How's everyone going? I'm telling you, that music, mate, makes me want to get out there and do some pump. Love it. It's all about everybody, welcome. And just let's have a look already. The comments are coming through. So everyone that's out there, welcome to the broadcast. Welcome. If you haven't been here before, I'm Rocco. I'm the Carlton supporter, of course, you know, the one on the top here. Then we got Magpie Manny, typical Collingwood supporter. How are you, mate?
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. How are you going?
Good, mate. Then we got Quinny. He's the Richmond, the Tiger Den, Pressure Point podcast. How are you, mate?
Oh, fantastic. How's everyone going tonight? It's been a big week. Very pumped.
Big week. And then we've got Marco. He's the essence. But you know what I love about you, man? The retro fucking, all the retro stuff you got. Flags, jumpers, hats, pinball machines, mate. You are a man's man. I love it. I love it. First of all, we've already got
never too old.
Live from Barwon Prison. Here we go. Straight from Barwon Prison. How are you, Peter? He's always on there. What else we got? All right. Live chat, all right. All right. We'll put up some chats a bit later on. So, how's everyone going? It was a big week in footy, wasn't it? Not only on the ground, off the ground this week, wasn't it, guys?
Oh, plenty going on. It keeps your mind racing all weekend, that's for sure. It gives you plenty to talk about. So looking forward to a big show.
100%. We have losers in those corners. Let me have a look if I can get those corners right, the bottom and the top. And then we got the winners. Marco, I've got something to say to you too later.
Yeah,
but
I've noticed that you put me on the bottom corner there. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're sitting fourth. So I'm happy with that.
No. What's he done here? Sorry, let me just have a look. Oh, the names have gone off. Because we set it up with Carlton, Collingwood, Richmond, Essendon, but for some reason it looks like it's changed. I don't know why.
That's okay.
Let me have a look at this one. Hold on. Oh, here we go. That's why.
There we go.
That's why. See, that's why we're in that order. That's all. No reason for you
That's
to be
okay.
at the bottom.
I'm happy to be sitting fourth, mate. So
100%. All right, let's get into just some quick conversation before I start getting stuck into Manny and Mark and Quinn. Really, all of this disgrace this week. But anyway, let's get into some stuff first. And I was speaking to Quinn before, and we thought, what can we talk about that's been big this week, right? And it's what is it, Quinn?
It's the MRO. I feel like it's a never-ending conversation with this muppet that sits up there at the top and makes these decisions. But I swear, to get some consistency out of this guy is nearly impossible. He's doing my head in. I don't know what you guys thought about some of the decisions over the weekend, but I can't handle this bloke anymore.
Well, I don't know. I've got my opinion. What about you guys? What do you reckon? I mean, Richmond copped it. Carlton copped it. Essendon, have they been sided, or is it Hawthorn's been sided? The Richmond and the Carlton got off. I don't even know. We call it chook lotto. We don't know what's going to happen.
Well, the biggest one for me that upsets me, right, is Lou. I agree with Lou. He does.
100%.
He needs to go. You need to bring back the system where it was a group of people, not just one bloke that, you know, he's got his biases and whatnot. You need a group of people to come together and make a choice. They say they're trying to protect their head and they're trying to rub out, you know, knocks to the head, dangerous tackles, etc., etc. 3 weeks ago, Nathan Broad from the Tigers, he gets given 4 weeks for a dangerous tackle. That's fair. I'll put my hand up. I had no issue with that. That's fair enough. Over the weekend, 2 more dangerous tackles happened in the Geelong-Hawthorn game, both arguably just as bad, if not worse. One of them gets off in 1 week. One of them gets off in 2 weeks. And the clubs are now contesting both of them. I swear, if those guys get off on those dangerous tackles, I'll lose my cool. I'll lose
100%.
it.
Yeah, it is
a so Quinn, sorry, mate. So Quinn, are you referring to the Lynch like hit, or is that what you're referring to?
Not the Lynch one, or that bothered me as well, but not the Lynch one. A few weeks ago, Nathan Broad did a dangerous tackle against Adelaide, and he got given 4 weeks. tribunal 4 weeks, but I think it was Will Day and Gary Rowan from the Hawks Geelong game, a couple of dangerous tackles there that were pretty bad, but because the players weren't concussed and sent off, they're judging it by the outcome, Mark, and that's what's bothering me. If you're trying to get rid of the action, get rid of the action. Don't worry about what happens with the outcome, because then too many players are going to get off easy.
Yeah. I'm with you.
It's hard to control. It's hard to control when you've picked up the pace and you run into a contested ball, and all of a sudden you've got. I don't know if you saw the replay of Lynch, but I mean he committed. So it was he's either going to get his head knocked out, or he's going to put his body to protect himself. I mean it's pretty simple, isn't it? You commit, you're going to put your body on the line. I think it was a bit unfair, and I think you're right. Something needs to be done. The reviewing at the moment is just atrocious.
I think what we need is some sort of guidelines of what's dangerous, what's not, what's high, what's medium, what's low. See, does anyone know? So what's medium on what's high? And then it's all about the outcome. I think that's unfair too. You know what I mean? So if someone gets straight back up, but you've hit him high, he could possibly get up. But someone doesn't get up, like he gets 4 weeks, So
I depends on the player.
I can only talk about the Harry McCabe as we watched it last night. Actually, say hello to all the Blue Abroad Carlton fans. We had 800 people watch a live Blue Abroad just talking about it while the case. We are some sick mothers out there, crazy people. But
good on your Blue Abroad.
We had a consistent what they were talking about in there, and some of the things the AFL lawyer was saying was unbelievable. Like he sounds like he's never played the game. He's never played the game, and they're trying to come up with a decision. It's ridiculous, man. There should be some sort of guidelines on what high, medium, low is. We understand we're trying to protect the head. We do understand that, and we do want to protect the head. I understand that. But it's also a contact sport. Man, now players are going in. Like, you think about it. We're 60 points up. Think about this. You're 60 points up, right? He's about to kick a goal, and you think to yourself, oh, it's not worth going for it.
Exactly.
But you can't be that good that you decide when to go and when not to go. I'm telling you, coaches don't tell them when to go and when not to go. You go every single time. Now they have to decide when to go. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
I can say the two issues with me. One is the consistency of it. I mean, again, it's probably biased opinion because of the Richmond one, but you saw the Tom Lynch incident over the weekend. He gets sent straight to the tribunal, which normally is minimum 3 weeks. Luckily, he got off, which, I mean, makes no difference with his 8-week injury anyway. But he got sent straight to the tribunal. The week before, West Coast Fremantle, and I can't remember the players' names, but pretty much an identical incident wasn't even looked at, not talked about, nothing, didn't even get mentioned. And it's, how do you have 1 week, the same thing happens, no one talks about it. The next week, the exact same thing, and all of a sudden it's straight to the tribunal. The problem is Christensen, or whatever his bloody name is, he's got a piece of paper and he's got a matrix in how he works and goes like, this sits in this category, this category, this category. The problem is you can't judge every incident the exact same way. Like, if you look at the Cozzy Piggott bump from a few weeks ago, to me, you can't grade that the same as what happened to Mackay on the weekend, Rock, because the Cozzy Piggott one was malicious. He left the ground, tried to clock him in the head, but they're putting him in the same categories. I don't know. You got to judge every case separately, and you can't just have one piece of paper and you slot it all in, because it's confusing and you're never going to get it right.
Well, what about, again, I can only talk about our game, and they cited Harry McKay, and that's fine, and fuck you, AFL, we fucked this again twice, right? But the thing is, did you see the Zerha? And here it is. I'll just, he puts it up. Zerha McDonald should have been cited. Zerha does a palm, right? Now, it's a fend-off, I understand, but he smacked him straight in the face, right? I don't think he should be cited. But why is that any better than what McKay did? He could have knocked him out. He could have knocked him out, but that's fine. But that's like trying to protect yourself or trying to spoil the ball, whatever he was trying to do. Is it? Come on. Like, it's all over the place, man. I don't get it.
Yeah.
No, there's no consistency. And the thing that bothers me the most, like I said, is you try the whole outcome thing because you're trying to protect the head. That's fine. I agree with that. You see what happens to players later down
100%
the track
protect
when
the
you
head.
don't.
I agree.
But if you're going purely by outcome and you see a player get knocked in the head, but he doesn't get concussed, and you give the guy, oh, we'll give him a week or we'll fine him for that one because, the player was all right, he's going to go do the same thing the next week and do it again because more often than not, the player will get back up and won't be concussed. You're going to get less concussions in those sorts of instances. So you're not really doing anything other than punishing an outcome rather than the action, and that's where it's flawed.
I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden they decide that headgear might be the new way of going. It's like any other sport.
The headgear doesn't do anything, mate. It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything, man. It doesn't stop. Look at the American gridiron, man. It doesn't do anything like that because what happens? It's not about the hit to the head. It's the shaking of the brain.
Correct.
And you can't stop that. So the headgear won't work, man.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about wearing a closed helmet. I'm talking about wearing, you see some of those players have got that just.
Yeah, but that's worse. What does that? That's gonna like affect like, a little bit of a hit, but it's not gonna stop concussion, Manny.
It'll absorb.
That's probably just an insecurity thing for the player.
It is, and a lot of players
to have the helmet to just like feel that they're more comfortable and going hard at the ball, but it's not going to make any difference to any head knocks. It's the brain inside.
It absorbs a little bit of the shock for sure, but the problem is you can technically get concussed from a hard body hit because if you get hit hard enough in the body and your brain starts rattling around, I know.
Well, look what happened to that City support, the City player. What happened to that McCarthy? There was no hit. There was nothing. There was no.
Well,
bang.
he actually hit the ground. It wasn't even anything too malicious.
Exactly.
Man.
It looked gentle as well. Really didn't look like he hit the ground that hard. He just a slight tap, and he was. I mean, the poor kid has been through enough with his head. It makes you wonder when he's going to. When do you call it? When's enough? But
I think it's enough. For
well,
sure.
and then it'll be up to him and the medicos and.
It's part of the game, and again, we are trying to stop head high. Don't get me wrong, but it is part of the game, and we've got to stop trying to change what a natural footballer does. Go for the ball, attack the ball. That's what we ask for.
Get over the ball,
but we don't.
Get over the ball.
100%. But the problem is now as well, you see with the lawsuits that are happening with the AFL, players are scared.
That's right.
100%.
And the AFL is scared too because they don't want current players to come back and sue them. But if you look, maybe it's out of line, but the fact that players are signing up, they're playing the game at the highest level, you know what the game's about. It's hard. It's contested football. You put your body on the line. Yes, injuries happen. Head knocks happen. But you knew that going into it. If you're going to then turn around and try and sue the AFL for playing a game that you chose to play, you got paid to play. I don't know. I think it's wrong. And the AFL didn't know any better back in the day. It wasn't like they deliberately ignored head. They didn't understand, and now they do, and they're 100%. Doing the right thing. But
you can't go back, man. You can't go back. It's like when people make jokes 10 years ago, and then they get reprimanded like 10 years later. 10 years ago, that was the line. We went to the line. Now you've moved the line and you want us, and now you're blaming us for something we understood as normal at that time. And that's the same with the AFL and the head knocks. Man, when those players played, mate, and they were getting those heavy knocks, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were getting into. You know what I mean? So, look, it's a weird – look, all I'm saying is we need some more consistency. We're getting into the tribunal the week before, like Akers for Carlton gets a week. And I think that was less than what McKay did. So you just go in there and you don't know what's going to happen. That's what shits me, man. That's what shits me.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I was looking
Good
at I was just looking at a couple of, games that, with a cousin of mine, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I reckon players were bigger. They were built differently, and I think it was a slower game. But now the football player, he just seems to be, just a lean machine. It's a quicker game, and you're bound to make these mistakes. These accidents are going to happen.
Well, they were bigger and stronger and slower, but these days they're faster.
Yeah,
definitely. They're impacting a lot quicker, man. So, it's just different. You know what I mean? So, Oh, here we go. Look at this bloke here, man. Thank you very much, Saif. He's a friend of mine. Here's to another solid show tonight. Go Blues. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for that.
Go the Bombers.
You're a champion. Yeah, that's it. Go the Bombers. I've got another one here I just want to show. He had to make sure. This is Manny Cosco. He's a Collingwood supporter, and he's a big supporter of the jumper punch. He just wants everyone to know that Manny is not the Manny on screen. He doesn't want to be associated with you. So there you go, mate. There you go.
Tell him I'm more than happy to sign something, and I'll send it to him with all my love.
That's it. Off you go. Yeah, I love, man. All right. It's all right. You know what? That's enough of that. We talked about it too much. We're here for one thing only, and we're here to talk about the mighty. No, we're here to talk about the top 4 teams. Everyone can go and get stuffed, as I said, right? So what we're going to do is, how about we start with this first of all? Let's have a bit of a look at this. Manny, you want to just read out those top 8 there?
Mate, I can't even see that screen. I tell you.
I can't even see either.
Hang on. Yeah, we got. Well,
we got Essendon in the top 4. Cool. Collingwood's dropped away just like Manny has with his tips. And we got Richmond all the way to, 12th spot. Richmond look like, sorry, mate, you look like a little bit in trouble with your injuries, the oldness, and all that. So it's Manny. You're dropping away
that's
like
fine,
you
mate.
tips,
That's fine.
mate.
That's fine. You know,
but we'll talk about your shit team in a second.
That's right. Well, let's talk about your team. Who have you played so far?
No, I run the show here. So I run the show here. So what we're going to do is we will talk about my side, but let's talk about your side first of all, because that was the first game, wasn't it?
It was, yes. All
right. Here we go. 116 to 11, 17, 83. There you go. Now, again.
18-8.
Yeah, 18-8, whatever it was, it really doesn't matter to me. All
yeah.
that use are a bunch of duds, right? And again, you leak the goals. You leak the goals like a leaky drain pipe. Again, you've got one pace the way you play the game, and you now got shown up by really just a half-average team. Now, I did warn you last week. Who are you going to put on those forwards? Because they will hurt you. I said Cameron will kick 8, and he kicked 6. You had no idea what was going on. What happened?
We've struggled with with Brisbane, and we've been struggling with Brisbane over the last 4 or 5 years.
I reckon you bet them last time.
And let me tell you that up there, Brisbane is not a pushover. Right?
You thought they'd be pushover. You said our middle is going to kill them. Our middle, don't worry about their forwards. You said our middle is going to kill them. Oh, my God. Then you leaked 10 goals in a row. 10 goals, bro. 10 goals. How do you stop it? I could stop 10 goals. Just stand in front of the goals for crying out loud. 10 goals, mate.
Yeah. Well, you're a bit loud, mate. You need to lower your voice a bit. Now,
no, I don't need to lower my voice.
We played 3 quarters of football. We didn't play well in the second quarter, and we got punished. As simple as that.
Look, let's hear from someone who knows what they're talking about. Needs to hold our defenders back playing too high, and that was exactly right. If you actually knew what you were talking about, exactly what happened. Your defenders went too far up the ground because who's your defensive coach, Manning?
We beat him in the stoppages. They played one quarter of football. That's what they did, Rocco. They played 1 quarter of football, and all of a sudden, that's what they played.
That's all they got to do.
Well, that's right. So, like I said, it's probably a loss that we needed to have.
Well, you needed the loss, did you?
Well, it's gonna make the coach wake up and sit there and dig into his boys and say,
which coach? Like, who you saying that you're defensive? Who's your defensive coach? That's the person you've got to blame. Because all year, if you look at the ladder, you have conceded almost the most points in the top 12 teams. Your defensive structure is hopeless, mate. Who is your defensive coach? He needs to answer questions. Who is it?
Listen, you got to understand one thing.
Do you know your defensive coach? Who's your defensive coach?
Listen. You can sit there and tell your players to go and play their game, but if they're not performing, you can't blame the coaches. It's simple, right? You can't blame the coaches. As simple as that.
Can't you?
No, you can't. You
can. You know why, Manny? I can blame the coaches because you've been conceding goals all year. This is a structural problem. Manny, you conceded 10 goals in a row. Who cares about stats? What matters is the result, right? At the end of the day, your structure is flawed. I told you, mate. Your structure is flawed. You go, and then when it's time to hold them, you can't do it. You've got no idea. You say you beat them in the middle. Did you really? What'd you beat them by? A couple of stats.
Well, one quarter of football. 1 quarter of football. And they beat us.
1 quarter because what I saw
was 1 quarter of football.
Brisbane was out there for 4 quarters. They were out there for 4 quarters. So what they did was they stemmed the tide and then they jammed you. Right?
Well, they played good football.
About how your midfield, apart from Dacos, you're really a lonely side, mate. Here you go. We'll get someone who understands what they're talking about. It's Leppage, mate. Leppage is the one.
Manny, just quickly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too concerned as a Collingwood supporter about the loss.
No, I'm not.
Whoever goes up to Brisbane to play against Brisbane at their ground,
that's right.
We're going to struggle. Okay,
that's right.
So I wouldn't be too concerned about the loss.
No,
but I have got a couple of concerns about their forward line. So I think Collingwood need a bit more of a stronger leading forward, and you haven't got that at the moment. So a lot of teams are working out that you can have Dacos having 35 possessions, 40 possessions. He'll get the ball,
whatever they want to do.
But it's not going to work. Yeah,
no.
During the Easter, Collingwood are throwing all their eggs into the basket, and teams are going to start working on that.
Essendon and Collingwood holding hands.
That's okay. So
I wouldn't be too concerned, if I used to.
but just be mindful. Just be mindful, Manny. You need a forward, a strong forward. Otherwise, teams are going to start working you guys out, and you're going to run out of legs.
You know what, Mark? You're right, but I'm not going to allow one defeat to control the whole season. You know what I mean? And at the moment,
we are talking about this week, man.
We've played
about this game.
We've played one team. Well, if you
we're talking about this game. I know you want to now go on for the rest of the year, but we are talking about this particular game where you got found out by a decent side. Because your other sides, you admitted yourself that Geelong were no good. Richmond, you don't rate because you can see they were playing with a VFL side. And who else did you beat? Port Adelaide, who haven't won here in 300 years. So you admitted yourself, right, that those teams weren't any good because when we played them, you said they weren't any good. Then when you played them, they were great. Now you played a team who actually weren't playing that well, and they showed you up because you've got no plan B. Just like your unscripted sayings now, you have not got a plan B.
Brisbane played a great game of football. That's all. I'm the first to put my hand up and say, well done to Brisbane. As simple as that.
I know well done to Brisbane, but I'm not here to praise Brisbane. I'm here to talk about your shit game style and the way you go about your shit game.
Hang on. Well, who have you played, Rocco?
Who is your coach? No, we'll get to my game. My game.
Let's get to your game.
Who is your coach?
McRae.
Right, yeah. What kind of player was he?
Well, it doesn't matter what kind of player he was.
It does matter. Where did he play?
Played it out in the West.
Yeah, but where? What position did he play?
He was a halfbacker.
No, he wasn't. He was actually a forward line player. He was a half forward line. Yes, he was.
Oh, there you go.
Half backer. You just guessed it. You don't even know. This is typically. I'm telling you, you've got. You know who else you've got in your coaching panel?
It doesn't matter.
You know who else you got in your coaching panel? You got Bolton.
What's that? Hang on, I've got Ginnivan. Ginnivan's just. Yeah.
Mimi.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Mimi.
Again, mate.
Hey, what's that? What's that?
Now, I just want to say one more thing before we get off this ridiculous team that you follow, right?
Yeah.
When we played the first game against Richmond, right?
Yeah.
When we played the first game and we drew, right? What time does the game finish, Queenie? You normally?
Oh, what? 10:30, quarter to 11?
No, it finishes before 10. It finishes about 9:50 or something, right? Yeah.
I finish about 10.
Yeah.
At 9:57, we get a message from Manny. What an average go. Both teams need to have a good look hard at themselves. Quality football is what Carlton's captain said. What game was he playing? Carlton keeps repeating itself, losing it at the end. That's what he sent 2 minutes after the game finished. Now, I'm just going to go through and see what Manny wrote after they got absolutely arse-whipped by Collingwood. Let me scroll. You wrote nothing because you know why, Manny? Because you're weak. You only come out when you're winning. You're a bunch of March premiers. That's what you are. Last week that you were premier. You were premier favourites.
I'm going to give one of these as a gift. You can shove this up your nose.
I think you need
I admit that we didn't play good football. As simple as that.
No, I'm just talking about your messaging. Real smart ass when we drew the game. We didn't even lose. And then I heard nothing. And I haven't responded. And for 4 days, I've heard nothing from you because you're weak. Anyway, let's get back to a real team. Let's go on.
Yeah, let's talk about the Blues.
This is how you do it, mate. This is how you do it easily. 11-18 to 16-11. We get 10 goals by the two big boys. That's how you do it. If you two want to get involved in this, you can. If Manny wants to try to read off his script, he can.
29 to 27. 29 square shots to 27.
Yeah. How's that relevant?
Okay. Right. Well,
how many rush behinds? I know you try to.
Well,
how many rushed?
Let me tell you.
How many rushed?
Hey, will you let me speak or
what?
How
many rushed?
Hey, I'm getting your viewers telling me this bloke doesn't let you speak.
Yeah,
so why don't you let me speak? Right.
Because how many rushed?
You haven't played any decent teams there, Rocco.
No,
you haven't played a decent team.
We haven't lost.
Well, you haven't played anyone decent yet.
So what? You can only do what you can do.
Well, that's right. See, at the moment, you haven't played a decent team. So I wouldn't be bragging if I were you.
I'm not bragging. I'm just showing you the results.
Anyways,
go on, Mark.
Watching this game, I said last week, Rock, that Curnow and Mackay, whatever his name, Mackay. They needed to kick 10 goals between them for Carlton to win the game, yeah? So last week you said, oh, no.
I love you, Manny.
They need to at least kick 6 goals between them, okay?
Yeah.
So going by that report there, if Mackay and Curnow had kicked the 6 goals, this game would have been a lot closer than what you thought. Because I did state to you last week, they need to kick 10 goals between them.
And they did.
And being a Nostradamus that I am, they kicked 10 goals, right?
They did.
So what if they would have kicked the 6 goals?
What if my grandma had wheels? She'd be a wheelbarrow.
So the game would have been a lot closer.
Not really, because we were 46 points up with 6 minutes to go, and then McGovern gets no. It does matter because I'll tell you something. What's the reason they kicked those last few goals?
Well, is it junk time? Is it?
I'm asking you, since you're such an expert, what was it?
Well, it would have been junk time. So Carl would have.
Tell me what it was. It wasn't junk time. I'll tell you exactly what they did. They took off McGovern to rest him because he got a call here. They took off Chera, and then they put Holland in the middle, and they put our sub, right? They put our sub into the middle and they tried him out. They actually even put Curnow into the middle. So all I'm saying is that, all I'm saying that if what you're saying, if there was a lot closer, we wouldn't have done those moves and we would have done it. We would have done a completely different last 5 or 6 minutes. So that's all, mate. But at the end of the day,
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced. Sorry, Rock.
It doesn't matter what you're convinced about. What all that matters is that what do you think North wasn't going to come out to play? Their biggest game of the year. And they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. It is, man.
Yeah. Turn it on. Biggest game of the year. Turn it on. Jeez.
Yeah. Well,
what was it, Manny?
It's fortunate that Curnow and McKay.
Their biggest game was,
Manny? It was their Good Friday appeal game. It's their biggest game of the year. They're the ones that are setting it up. Yes, it was. And if you were there, you would understand.
The biggest game was last week against Hawthorn.
No, shut up. They went in there.
It was the clash of the coaches.
Yeah, all right, the clash of the coaches.
Whatever.
So you know what?
I'm not convinced.
Say whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, man, we're undefeated
points.
and we can only win what we've done.
Hey, Quinn, what do you reckon?
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask you, Rock, because it's all good and well to blow out North Melbourne, a young, inexperienced
side. Banter, mate.
With missing backmen.
They've actually got a. I actually rate their side. They're not a bad young side at the moment.
No, North have got a decent list, but they are young and inexperienced, and they're going to fizzle out of games. You're going to see it happen all
100%.
year, I reckon. But up until half time, the game was like for me. If I was a Carlton supporter during that game, I would have been very concerned at half time that North would bring it to us so well. As you said, it's their biggest game. They were going to always come out strong. But do you have concerns there that the game was that close?
I was not happy with that first half. So when me and my son walked out to go and get a pie. When we walked out, I said, I want to see what they're going to do now because they've got to do. And they swung the changes. So they put Doc in the middle. They moved Hewitt to the back line. Fisher went into the middle, and we absolutely dominated for a quarter and a half until we took those players off, right?
Against North Melbourne.
They did exactly what they had to do in game, and I'm fucking really proud of what they did to win this game. If anyone thinks that any game is easy, use it all delusion.
You're right, Mark. Against North Melbourne. He's breaking against North Melbourne. Yeah, go and turn it on.
We'll see when you play him.
We'll
see when you play him.
Well, worry about
you just got 10 goals. You just got your ass reamed by a team.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the end of the day, unlike you, Manny.
A win's a win.
We just keep doing what we have to do, man.
No, win's a win. Look, I'm impressed with Carlton at the moment. They're repeating last year's events.
No, we're not.
We're
not. No,
You're
we're
winning.
not.
You're winning.
No, we're not. We're not repeating last week. We're completely different to last year.
No, last year. You're repeating exact last year. So,
no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. I
hope you see finals football.
It's got nothing to do with you. Let's have a look at this. Manny's trying to give it twice and he doesn't even know who his players are. Bravo, Manny. Bravo, Manny. Hey, listen. Have you got your membership?
Is that your mate?
Have you got your membership or you're trying to pass off another one this week?
Mate, I showed you my membership last week.
Yeah. Everyone knows, man, that you tried to pass it off.
It must hurt you, mate. Just
until you show us your name.
Move on.
Until you show us your name, everyone knows that you tried to pass off.
Yeah, that's okay.
To pass off. So that's sad. That is sad, man. Yeah. Anyway, we've got some smart viewers because everyone knows that you didn't have a membership, and they actually sent us a lookalike.
Yeah.
Oh no, lookalikes. Oh, that's all.
There's Owl from Toy Story.
Hey, that's fantastic.
Oh,
that is fantastic.
I'm being serious here. Everyone loves you, Manny, but seriously, you're an absolute disgrace for trying to pass
I'll get a few lookalikes.
You got nothing. You got nothing better to do there, Rocker.
Here you go. Collingwood struggled to beat North last year, but you made a preliminary. Do you even remember that score?
It's irrelevant. The score, we made it. We played finals.
Wait a second. You just said to me that it doesn't, and now you're saying we made it. Yeah,
I think we beat Carlton at the last game. That was so well scripted. It was so well scripted. It was a point, and Carl was just so upset, and that was so sad.
Anyway, yeah, very good, mate. Very good, mate. Very good. Just show us that. I don't know. We're sitting second, and you're slowly dropping the way your tips do. All right. So who was the next game? Who was the next game?
Before you say anything,
this one here. We had Richmond at 12-84. The Western Bulldogs 12-17, 89.
Fucking fuck.
Yeah, fuck.
Let's go, Quinny. This is you, mate.
Oh,
Let's
look,
hear from someone who actually knows the game.
I want to reference a couple of comments I saw a little bit earlier on as well.
Let's have a look.
So I'm sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation, but Sayaf commented something about Taranto and Hopper.
Yes.
Asked me a question about Taranto and Hopper, saying, Quinn, was Taranto and Hopper worth the price of your future? What I will say is we are riddled with injuries at the moment, which, I'm not using it as an excuse, but on the weekend we came out with, I think it was 5 players that have played less than 10 games and 7 players that have played less than 20. So our side's not what it used to be. And you look at someone like Taranto, and I've got the stats in front of me because they came prepared. But currently, Taranto is number 5 in the AFL for pressure acts, number 10 for disposals, 6 for tackles, number 3 for defensive half pressure acts. And he's number 17 for clangers. But you got to remember as well, Toby Green, Dangerfield, Wines, Kelly, Bont, Cripps are all above him in that stat. So I don't think he's doing as badly as everyone thinks he is. I just reckon when you go to a new club and you've got that big expectation, everyone expects you to be the Brownlow favourite after 3 or 4 rounds. So I'm not actually too concerned with those guys. I reckon it's the youth around us that are probably not getting the job done in these tight games. But look, in the last year, we haven't lost a game by more than 12 points. So we're in every game, just like Carlton last year. We just can't seem to win the close ones, which is really costing us.
Yeah, no, definitely. I watched that game and you actually came back, right? And you had it and then they got away. But apparently for Manny, that's not good enough. But you actually did
what?
But
I actually like the style of football Carlton. I like the football. I like the style of football that Richmond plays. I don't know what it is. I actually enjoy watching Richmond play. I mean, Carlton, I switch it off because I think it's a waste of time. But I love watching the way Richmond plays, regardless of whether they win or lose.
Anyway, we were talking about Richmond, but I will say you can look it up, Manny. I just want you to think about it after we talk about the Richmond. Since you don't like our style of play, I just want you to go over what's our style of play. But in the meantime, Quinn, keep going.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, I think the inexperience probably cost us in the end, but we had our chance to win. So it's all good and well to point. Found a lot of people blaming the umpires for a couple of stinkers in the last quarter that got Bulldogs goals. But look, yeah, I don't agree with the decisions. But at the end of the day, we had our chance. We had an 8-goal second quarter to none, and then we didn't kick a goal in the third. So we used to be a side that could play really good footy in the rain. That was sort of, if it rained and you're playing Richmond, you'd sort of start to worry. But just with the list we've got now, it's completely different. I think the rain hurts us more than anything, and it showed after halftime. I was at the game, and it was bucketing down, and after halftime we came out and we looked shot, and obviously Lynch was playing with a broken foot. Nank was playing with what has Nank got again? He did something, he broke something. I don't know, I can't remember what he did. Syndesmosis in the ankles. He had a bad ankle. Right. We had a couple of beaten up players, and the young guys just weren't quite getting the job done. So look, disappointing, but another close game that we had the chance to win, and we coughed it up. Simple as
Can
that.
I just say about Richmond? I've got a really good mate who's a Richmond. We always talk about the club, so I think I know a little bit about Richmond. I think over the years you put all your eggs in one basket trying to win another one, and you might have kept a few players just a little bit too long. But in saying that, teams that do a dynasty of 3 and 4 premierships tend to do that a little bit, So you might have to go backwards a bit before you go forward, But at the moment, you just look a little bit old, and you're getting a few injuries, and your young players maybe need a little bit of time to kind of get back into it. Yeah. So that's my opinion.
Obviously, the game, Quinn. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry,
the first time you've said something.
Obviously, the game could have gone either way. Obviously, it was only
I agree.
goal difference. So, but obviously Western Bulldogs tend to play a bit more scrappy type football in the wet weather conditions, so that wouldn't have helped Richmond. But like I said last week, Quinn, I reckon just Richmond probably haven't got that hunger for some reason and that desire. They've been there and they've done it, and I reckon it's just going to cause a few issues for the year for Richmond. But obviously Lynch is out for how long? Were you saying or?
Oh, it'll Lynch will miss at least 8 to 10. He had surgery on a fractured foot, so he'll miss a long period.
That's a big loss, mate. Obviously, so I don't know where Richmond's going. They're not convincing to me this year. But anything can happen, eh? So
like I said, we got, because I know a lot of people say that Toronto and Apple, we've traded away our future. I think we've got a lot of up and coming kids that no one really knows about yet. Like I said, 5 players under 10 games and 7 under 20 that we had playing on the weekend. Like these kids, unless you go for Richmond, you probably don't really know who they are. Like Noah Cumberland's going to be a star, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
I think Samson Ryan's got potential. He just looks a little bit clumsy at the moment, but he's every chance to bob up. You got Tyler Young, who's number 1 in the competition at the moment for spoils, and I think he's number 6 for the amount of one-on-ones that he's beaten his opponent in, and he's only played 3 or 4 games. So we've got some kids that are doing good things, but when they're that young, you're not going to expect them to beat these.
So how do you think Richmond will go this year? Like, being honest, how do you think they're going to go? What they make the 8 or close or top 4 or I mean, it's a long year to go, but where do you see him sitting?
If you asked me this before round 1, I would have said top 8 definitely, pushing for top 4. But with the injuries, if we get everybody back and and we win a couple of games to keep us in touch and all that, I think we can still play finals, no problem. But
good,
it's just getting your team together and playing some consistent footy. So it'll be interesting to see. But like a lot of the people in the comments wouldn't know, we've had a bit of success over the last few years, so I'm pretty content.
Never give up.
And as I said,
and so you should.
Teams who have a dynasty, they usually tend to keep their players just a little bit too long. And it's hard to get rid of those players. Like, how do you get rid of premiership players? Like, it's really hard. But sometimes they've got to make the hard calls. And I'm talking about hard calls. I'm going to be controversial here. I'm talking about hard calls like Dusty. It's time to maybe look to the future, man. Imagine you're getting 2 first round.
Turn it up, Dusty. Turn it up, Rocco. What are you talking about? What's Carl got? A 15?
Would you take 2 first round picks?
A 15?
Shut up.
What do you got? A 15-year or 20-year plan? What have you guys been doing?
Oh, for fuck's sakes! Would you take 2 first round picks for Dusty?
Dusty's still a superstar, mate.
But potentially the question. But I'll throw back at you, Rock. Would anyone really give 2 first-round picks for Dusty, considering where he's at in his career? And
someone like Sydney they might give you a first, and they might give you a future first or something. Would you take something like that? Because Dusty's at the end of the day, he's been a champion, but sometimes teams have got to make hard calls, mate.
He's a great player.
Good teams make those hard calls. I'm just throwing it out. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but if you're going to get a couple of first-round picks, you might have to chuck in something. You've got to give up something. Don't think you're going to just get first-round picks without giving up something. You know what I mean? So do you really believe that you're going to win a premiership in the next 2 or 3 years? Honestly. I know you hope.
Oh, look, before the beginning of the season, I probably thought we were half a chance, but maybe not at the moment. I agree with what Wayne just said I agree with what Wayne said in the comments. You can't throw experienced players you teach on the field. And I agree with that, because if you look in the last couple of years, we've lost players like Basher Hawley, David Asprey, Shane Edwards. We are so filtering out these older players.
100%.
Koch and Rewald they're really the only 2 old statesmen that are still around. Dusty, I know what you're saying. He's in his 30s too, but it's really...
Well, I'm just thinking of who would you give up to bolster the young kids? You'd have to give up something, you know what I mean? But anyway, it's just food for thought. I just think it's going to be a tough year for Richmond.
Yeah, get rid of the old players. Get rid of the old players and get into the new players, the new young and bomber players. Come on, next round. Come on.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this side. Here you go. 11-22, 88 to 11-9, 75. Were you there? Were you there, mate?
No, I wasn't, mate. I was at the caravan park in Rosebud, buddy. So
I
do
believe you.
apologise for not going to the game. But
Can
I was
just
watching
quickly
it.
say something? When we got that similar score last week against GWS over there, I saw you were shaking your head and you were talking and blah, blah. How could you do it and that? And you did almost exactly the similar, but the difference is you played them over here where they are hopeless.
Yes. No, they're not hopeless. Look, you've got to be mindful that it was a good win for Essendon. Yeah, it was just a good win.
But why was that a good win and last week it wasn't a good win for Carlton?
Not about Carlton, yeah? We're talking about Essendon now, okay? So it was a good win. Obviously, we outscored them by what? We should have won by about like 10 goals, to be honest. We were 13 scoring shots more than what the Orange team was.
That was the same as us last week, man.
The scoreboard does not reflect. Essendon played great football. Great game.
Look, we should have won by at least 10 goals. But anyway, that's beside the point. We didn't. So I was happy for the win, 4 points. Back into the top 4. Mate, come on. Round 5, mate. I said to you, the first round, I said, the games go quicker. Round 5, round 9, round 10. So we're still in the top 4, yeah? And I'm wrapped with
that's
that,
it, man.
honest,
That's all you can do. Is
so,
I'm just saying, like last week, it was a shit game by Carlton, but this week it's a great game by you. I thought, even though with your misses,
it was a good game. I said it was a good game.
No, what you said was you were shaking your head when Manny was trying to read his script and knew nothing about the game, and you were saying, "Oh yeah, you know, you let him," and then I'm telling you, it was almost identical to ours, man. What was it? 11-22, man. We were 10-20. So now, to be serious, I think maybe GWS do something to other teams that you fucking can't score for some reason. So
maybe we can't. But if they had their goal shooting boots on, they would have won by about 10 goals.
Lucky for that shit player that you've got in Stringer, right?
So I was just referring to that. Last week I did say that Essendon, if they're going to win this week, Stringer needs to perform. And again, it's the Nostradamus here going again. So BOG for me was Jake Stringer, 4 goals, 6. Okay, Zach Merritt, what a great player he is.
Hey, Mark, who was the player that scored? Who scored that ripper goal? That 60-meter kick. Who was it? Was that Stringer? Was that Stringer?
2 votes.
Yeah,
what a great player here he is.
Wasn't Rocco talking about the paddock? What was he saying? He was saying the paddock.
Yeah. That's right. That's what he said. He goes, the
paddock. That's what you were saying.
I still reckon that Stringer doesn't do enough for you guys, man. So you can keep him as much as you want. Just like Setterfield. Setterfield has been fucking great too, mate. He got like 2 possessions in the third quarter.
Springer there. Number 1, Mason Redmond. Got back to his mojo.
Yep.
So it was good to see him come back and he kicked another 50-meter goal.
Yeah, he did that.
And
he does that.
Just to mention, Setterfield, again, 23 possessions in the midfield.
Six turnovers. 6 turnovers, mate.
Good player he is.
6 turnovers.
Hey, put some money on Dacus to win the Brownlow.
And his efficiency was 67%. So you can get your 23 possessions. And I'm telling you, that's exactly all I was saying to you about that dud is I've seen that. And he's proving it. And he gets weaker and weaker.
Hey, it was a good win. It was a good win. It wasn't convincing, but at the end of the day, we got the 4 points. They're the teams we've got to beat.
Next 4 weeks, we'll see.
Go to Mighty Bombers. We're sitting top 4, and just be careful about the Bombers, yeah.
Just be careful you don't turn into a Manny and become a March Premier. Anyway, this is your.
It's April.
This is your time now, because what we're going to do is we got 10 minutes and we're going to go through the games, right? And
before we do that,
who's falling over with last week's tips? Let's start with the first game.
All right. Well, as we know, it is Gather Round, and Rocco, you'll be happy with this one. It's the Thursday night. The Crows playing Carlton, the Blues, and honestly, this game, Mark, if I was doing a toss of the coin game this week, this would be the one for me. This honestly could go either way. I know you've probably got another one up your sleeve, but this could be the one as well. I reckon this game will be unreal. How you guys reckon it'll pan out?
I think it's going to be a tough game. Adelaide's playing some good football. The good thing is we did lose Doc for 6 weeks, but I think we can cover him. So we are picking up Akers. We are bringing back Kennedy, and we're bringing back just this. I don't know. He's pretty average. Walsh back into the side. So I think, look, to tell you the truth, the middle now, Manny. This is when you know about football. The middle is where we will win this game because I think the middle is where we've got them. And it's always hard to stop the 2 big forwards, as you can see. So anyway, we've got to quickly go through these tips. So you know what I'm going to go for. Off you go, Manny.
I think the Crows are really going to play their heart out, and I think they're going to really ruin the hearts of the Blue supporters.
All right, good. Off you go, Mark.
I'm going to go.
Oh, anyway, Mark or Quinn?
No, go Mark.
Quickly, if Curnow and Mackay don't kick 7 goals between them, Adelaide will win.
All right, good. All right, so Adelaide.
Good on you, Mark.
I'm going Blues, but as long as they play a full 4 quarters, if they drop off for a half or a quarter, the Crows will come back and pinch them like they did to us. So the full 4 quarters,
it's going to be a tough game. But unlike Manny and their shit Collingwood side, right? We know that it's a long season and not.
Yeah. You're right, Rocco.
Next game,
long season.
Next game at Norwood Oval, South Australia. We've got the Freo Dockers taking on the Gold Coast Suns, and it's a bit of a nothing clash if we're being brutally honest. I really couldn't tell you who's going to win this one, but Freo are disappointing me every week. So I'm going Gold Coast to get my tip in early.
Wow,
yep.
Jeez. Gold Coast for me for some reason.
Yeah.
I might go with Fremantle.
Yeah, I'm going to go Gold Coast. I think Fremantle have really. I think it's going to be one of those years where they're not going to be doing too well. For some reason, they're going to have a lean year. And to tell you the truth, Gold Coast Suns aren't playing that bad of football. So next game, mate. Next game.
We've got my boys, the Tigers, taking on the Swans on the Friday night, Adelaide Oval, prime time, and it's This is. I said this last week about the Dogs, but for me as a Richmond supporter, geez, we really need to win this one, or it's kind of starts to get real tough from here. And you know what? The Swans are missing both McCartan boys, and I think Buddy's missing as well this week. So we've both got a few injuries. I'm obviously going to back my boys in. I know it won't be the popular opinion, but I'm backing the Tigers.
Mark?
This one here for me, again, Quinn. I've done it once before, but it's toss of the coin for me. So Richmond home. So it's tails. So Sydney
Swans.
for me.
That damn coin. That damn
Sydney.
coin.
Sydney for me.
And Sydney for you. Yeah, it's Sydney for me, man. The only reason, man, I'm telling you, you've lost Lynch and you've lost your Ruckman. I think they're going to be massive, they're going to be massive losses for you. But anyway, we've got a Carlton supporter here. He reckons Richmond by 11 points. So, mate, you got some sort of well done. All right, next game.
All righty. Firstly, thank you very much, Wayne. I knew I liked you for some reason. We've got the Saturday during the day. Brisbane take on North Melbourne, Adelaide Hills. I have no idea where that is. It's hard to look past Brisbane, but they don't play great footy away from the Gabba, so who knows? But I will back them in here. I'm going to go the Lions myself.
The Lions.
Yeah, Lions for me.
Yeah, I just think that they might not play outside of great football, but this is a Melbourne. So I think it kind of neutralizes everything there. So that's the difference, I think, with this game. Next one.
All righty, we got the twilight fixture Saturday, 4:10 p.m. at Adelaide Oval. The Bombers, Mark, take on the D's. And, it's sorry, Mark, but it's just hard to tip against Melbourne at the moment, isn't it? They're playing very good football and, one of the premiership favourites. So, yeah, for me, I'm tipping the D's, but should be a good game.
Yeah, Melbourne for me.
I'm not even going to ask Mark because he's delusional.
No. To me personally, we're playing on the neutral ground, so it's not like we're playing at the MCG. So if Essendon's quite,
it is a neutral ground, you banana.
It's a neutral ground, but the MCG is probably a little bit different, But
that's a neutral ground to you too, isn't it? MCG,
but I mean, it's in Adelaide, so we've probably got a lot more supporters in Adelaide than Melbourne have. So it could be a benefit for us. But if we can be competitive, honestly, for 4 quarters against Melbourne, we'll win by 7 points.
Yeah, all right.
Nostradamus.
Seriously,
I don't know.
I think you've done. Yeah, I think you knocked your head. Maybe you need to go under the concussion rule because your next 4 weeks are really going to show where you're at, man.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see next week, mate. We'll wait and see next week.
We will. I'll be here.
Right, next game, Mark. Whoever knocked you before recording, I reckon should get minimum 4 weeks for that hit. But we'll go on. It's Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide taking on the Western Bulldogs. And it's 7:50. I was going to say, you got back-to-back games at Adelaide Oval. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Port taking on which is going to be interesting. But yeah, Port taking on the Doggies. Port had a great comeback win against the Swans last week. Really dug in. And I think at their home ground, the big fixture around it, I don't see
Port Adelaide.
Port, Quinn?
Yeah, Port.
Yeah, I think Port will do this one here. Yeah. So quickly, let's go to the next one.
All righty. On the Sunday, 1:10, Adelaide Oval again. We've got Geelong taking on the West Coast Eagles. And I think Geelong might have just found their mojo back, even though it was against a pretty average team. But I reckon they'll be flying from here on out. And, yeah, the Cats will get this one done against the Eagles.
Yeah,
Geelong for me.
Yeah, Geelong.
Yeah, I think Geelong. Not that they got their mojo back, but they're gonna win this game. Hey, listen, I think Peter brings up a good point, man. Seriously, we should have concussion tests before the thing because I don't know. I don't think Manny will ever pass one, but we'll have to give one to Mark. All right, next game.
All right, next game, Norwood Oval again. We've got the Giants taking on the Hawks, and this will be a really good game. This will be one of the better of the bottom 8 clashes, I reckon, happening this weekend, and could go either way. I don't know. I like what Hawthorn can do. If they can play a little bit more consistently throughout a game, I reckon they could potentially pinch this one. So I'm going to go for the underdog and go Hawks myself.
Right, Giants. Giants for me.
Giants for me.
Yeah, Giants for me too. Like Hawks are just very young, and you saw far out what Geelong did to Hawks in that 1 quarter is the same thing I do to Manny every week, mate, without Vaseline, man. It was absolutely embarrassing. But anyway, let's go into is it the last game? Yes.
One more game.
Is that
the last game?
You're talking about Vaseline. You need to take some off your head there, Rocco, because the reflection hits my eyesight. I can't see you that well, mate. Yeah.
All righty, we're going to get through this last game. We've got 50 seconds left. We've got Collingwood taking on St Kilda, Adelaide Oval, and a lot of people are talking about this one not being moved back to Melbourne because, the Saints are doing all right and Collingwood are doing all right as well. And it kills me to say it, but Collingwood play good football on Adelaide and they've got a very good record there. So I reckon they might just
Cold pies. Go the pies.
Pies?
Yeah.
Pies. What about you, Rocco?
Nah, go the Saints, man. They're going to run through you just like Cameron gave you a new asshole. Mate, those small players are going to absolutely destroy you.
Hey,
all right, let's go because we do have to go because the big interview is the Bolt, Glenn Manton. We interviewed him at the Free AW studios. And it's the huge. We're always getting the big, huge interviews here. So everyone get on and have a look. We just want to say, Snitz Northland, everyone get down there. Manny, you still haven't bloody joined. You're bloody tight ass. That's why Greeks have their Easter the week later, because you're tight asses and you want cheap eggs. But seriously, guys, thanks everyone for joining us. We had a huge viewing, so we thank everyone for joining us. Thank you, you boys. Always a pleasure. Boys. It's my third favorite thing of the week.
Hey, Rocco, all I can say is I'm happy to see that counselling is working.
Before we go, shut up, mate. You're a dud. Here we go. Manny, 19. Quinn, 19. Mark, 19. Rocco, 18. And one save. Manny's doing exactly what Collingwood did. March premiers. Yeah. You're a dud. You two are a bunch of losers. Go Blues, and thank you for coming.